Western script, Eastern reality. This is the algorithm. Rewrite the rules. January 2026. The world expected Donald Trump's return to the White House to trigger World War III. They were wrong. He didn't bring a declaration of war. He brought an eviction notice. For 80 years, the United States lived like a global supertenant in a worldwide mansion. It guarded Europe's doors, patrolled the Middle East's hallways, and kept the peace in Asia's courtyards. But over time, the neighbors started believing the house was public property. Until tonight. The landlord is back. He slams his hand on the table and tells the world, "Lease expired. I'm taking my house back."
When the Monroe Doctrine was born in 1823, it was a polite request for Europe to stay away. But the Trump Amendment of 2026 is a total asset liquidation. His logic is brutal in its simplicity. American blood and treasure will no longer be wasted in distant quagmires that produce nothing but spent shell casings. He is pulling his fist back, retracting it entirely into the Western Hemisphere. Because in this new world, the one who absolute controls their own backyard is the only one with a seat at the final table to slice the cake.
Listen, these so-called allies, they treated us like an ATM for decades. We fought their wars, and they stabbed us in the back by flirting with the East. Those days are over. The Panama Canal, that's going to be our inland river again. Greenland, that's our strategic balcony. And Venezuela, it's the biggest gas station on the planet, and it's been run by lunatics while letting Eastern rigs set up shop in our yard? No, I'm not here to talk about democracy. I'm here for the title deeds. We are moving in, we are clearing the site, and we are packing up everything that doesn't belong in this hemisphere and shipping it out. America doesn't need the world anymore. America just needs to win its half of the planet.
This is strategic retrenchment. The U.S. is resigning as the global cop to become an ultimate regional hegemon. He doesn't care about the lines in Ukraine anymore. He doesn't care who wears the crown in the Middle East. He only cares about one thing, that from Greenland to Antarctica, every inch of soil, every drop of oil, and every fiber optic cable bears the name America. This liquidation is a preparation for a much larger transaction, because when you hold a clean, fully controlled Western Hemisphere, you finally have the leverage to sit down with that big boss from the East and slice the cake as equals.
In this room, no one speaks of democracy. No one speaks of justice. They speak of balance sheets. To these titans, nations like Ukraine, the Middle East, and even Western Europe are merely liquidatable assets or transferable debts.
Look at these numbers. It's a disaster. For 4-5 years, we've been paying the bills for that piano player. Hundreds of billions. And for what? What do we get? Nothing but endless invoices and a bunch of burned-out tank shells. I spoke to the big boss from the East. I told him straight, "Listen, I'm bored with Ukraine. If you want that land, if you want those charred sunflower fields, take them. I'm not spending another single dime on it."
This is what we call an asset swap. Trump's logic is cold. If Ukraine is a bottomless pit, turn it into a gift and let the East deal with the headaches. In exchange, the East must fully liquidate its holdings in the Western Hemisphere. Those ports in Peru, the power grids in Brazil, the oil fields in Venezuela. The East has 6 months to pack up and leave. This isn't a loss, it's a closing of position. America sheds its bad debt, Ukraine, to regain absolute control over its own backyard. This is the ultimate slice of the cake.
They think I'm going to start a nuclear war over these places? Morons! Everything has a price. The East wants their core interests? I can give them that. But my price is this. The dollar relocks the resources of the Western Hemisphere, and our electric standards run the show in South America without competition. The world thinks we're fighting. We're not fighting. We're zoning. I told him, you run your side, I'll run mine. If one of your guys so much as digs a bucket of oil in my yard, I seize every piece of real estate you own in Manhattan.
This afternoon tea determined the borders for the next 50 years. While the Ukrainian leader is still giving speeches in Congress, begging the world not to forget them, he has no idea. His slice has already turned to ash in a Davos fireplace. A chilling silence has settled between the empires, a mutual understanding. They no longer need a world-ending total war. They only need controlled chaos. As long as the territories are clearly marked and the rules of the Great Slice are stable, the empires can continue to rule.
The most terrifying part of this Great Slice model is that it completely deletes the relevance of small nations. In 2026, if you aren't inside the red line drawn by a superpower, you simply don't exist. America's retreat into the Western Hemisphere isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of focus. It has reclaimed the power to walk away because it no longer relies on anyone else's permission.
By 2026, the United States finally realized that global leadership was nothing more than an expensive vanity project. The Trump administration has shredded every international obligation held since World War II, repositioning America as a cold, fortress-like hegemon of the Western Hemisphere. They are no longer talking about democracy. They are talking about property management.
Look at this. Now that we've taken Maduro off the board, this place becomes the world's largest gas station under new management. I don't need to go to the Middle East and beg those people for a drop of oil. My own backyard is enough to fuel this country for 200 years. I want everyone to understand, the Western Hemisphere is not part of the international community. It is an American asset. Eastern ports, Russian mercenaries, Cuban missile stations. I want them all cleared out. I don't care how it's done. I want every inch of this hemisphere scrubbed clean of any unfriendly colors.
This is strategic decoupling at its peak. While we were withdrawing from Europe and cutting off the Ukraine subscription, the world thought America was in decline. In reality, we were consolidating the perimeter. We took every dollar of our global military budget and focused it entirely behind this red line. We no longer need to protect global sea lanes. We only need to secure the vertical corridor from Alaska to Antarctica. This positioning gives the U.S. ultimate flexibility. Since we possess all the resources, food, and energy of the Western Hemisphere, why should we care if the rest of the world burns?
They're still playing in the mud over there. Let them. Every dollar I burn to save Europe is a dollar I lose for our Golden Dome missile shield. My role is simple. I am the landlord of the West. If you want to do business in my hemisphere, you pay rent. If you want to cause trouble, I'll treat you like a thief on a private lawn. One shot, problem solved.
America's new identity is one of extreme egoism. Yet it is also a state of ultimate defense. They have built a fortress hemisphere with the dollar and oil as its moats. As Europe shivers in the winter and the East exhausts itself in an electric expansion, America sits within its property, quietly watching the imperial twilight it helped orchestrate.
Boss, we aren't abandoning the world. We are upgrading the isolation. As long as the supply chains of the West bear the name USA, we retain the power to flip the table at any moment. For now, we wait for the East to finish slicing their half of the cake. Once the boundaries are clear, the controlled bipolar world can begin its operations.
Late 2026. The smoke hasn't cleared, but the front lines are frozen. The two wealthiest and most powerful forces on Earth have reached the darkest consensus in human history. I won't destroy you, and you won't cross the line. Together, we will manage the rest of the world.
This is the best deal. I got my hemisphere, my oil, my fortress, and they got their grid and those dusty European ruins. We don't need nuclear warheads to deter each other anymore. We only need to unplug. If their people try to mess with me, I shut off their dollar settlement system. If our people try to cross them, they shut off our power. This balance is more stable than any peace treaty. It's called reciprocal hostage diplomacy.
Boss, this is managed conflict. The empires will keep acting in small theaters and shouting at each other on the news. Only by maintaining a moderate tension can we justify the highest level of control within our own respective domains. Ukraine, the Middle East, even the borders of Southeast Asia. These wounds will be intentionally kept open as black holes for resource consumption. Meanwhile, the core assets, algorithms, energy, and the right to exist have already been sliced clean between the two of us.
So, stop asking me why I don't save Ukraine, and stop asking why I don't start a great war. Because I've already won. I turned America from a bankrupt property manager into a super landlord with the title deeds to half the planet. The other half? Let the East worry about it. Good luck to them managing a bunch of hungry Europeans.
The New World Order is now in effect. The freedom you think you have is just a coordinate on a great power's map. While you watch this video, the pens of empires have already drawn a circle around your home. Will you live within the Eastern grid or pay rent in the Western fortress? That is your only choice. Want to know more about the inside story of this imperial slice? Want to see through the cold capital logic behind geopolitics? Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with friends who still think the world runs on justice. We tell you exactly how the East sees the world. See you next time.